Yo, what's going on, MMA fans? Yo, it's the MMA Analyst. Just doing a video here regarding the MMA Challenge. Um, I'm up against the great Chase. I don't know his last name, but maybe that's a little too personal, for the internet dudes with the first and last name. I don't know. I wouldn't want my face, first and last name on the internet anyways. But yeah, it's for the MMA challenge, and the question is, whether or not the UFC and Affliction would be better as competitors or partners. And I mean, I don't know how this is going to be a debate because we basically believe the same thing. I'm going to get right down to it. If you've watched his video, then you know where I'm going to go. If not, here's my breakdown. It's a little bit longer. I think it will be just because of what I've got written down here. But anyways, here we go. Enough of the small talk. Down to business. To properly determine whether or not it's better to have the organizations, in this case UFC or Affliction, team up or be rivals, we would first need to identify the parties involved and then discuss how they would be affected in the situation. So here we go. In any business, MMA included, there are three main parties. They are the consumers. That's like me and you. Hopefully you, unless you're a pirater. You a pirate? All right. Anyways, we got the consumers. That's us. We've got the employees. So those are the fighters. Tito. He's an employee. Maybe not of Dana anymore, but possibly Affliction. We'll get to that. And then we've got the employers. So, that's Dana White, the Fertitta brothers, So let's take a look at the situation. The consumers, that's us. Competition is always good for the consumers. With competition, one company has to try to outdo the other company or at least compete with the other company, whether it be prices, quality of the product, quantity of the product, or a combination really of all of the above. Now, when you don't have the competition, you get companies who have the ability to do whatever they want because it's not like you're going to get what they offer anywhere else. In regards to UFC teaming up with Affliction, I mean, if that happened, you would just end up with what we have right now, basically a monopoly in the American market. MMA fans would, get what the UFC wants to give them, and we'd have to look otherwise if there was no competition, and there wouldn't be anywhere else to go. We would be like the UFC or bust. The way it is right now, you know what I mean. The UFC has to compete with Affliction. They have to try and stay ahead of the game using business strategies that aren't really just going to benefit the shareholders of the company, but also going to benefit the consumer, us. And, after all said and done, if you don't give the consumer what they want, then they're going to go somewhere else that offers what they believe they want/need, and you'll no longer have them as consumers. So, basically they're going to become your competitors' consumers. So, like last month, what happened? The UFC was like, oh no, Affliction, what are we going to do? They've got a crazy card. We have to do something. They didn't put together a crazy card, but they put together a card, period. They put together an extra card. That's good for us. MMA, more MMA, great. Another thing, because of the competition, we're being blessed with free, MMA. I mean, really, we're not getting just more MMA, but Dana White put together a free card for us. That's a win-win. What did I do? I bought the Affliction, and then I watched the free, Silva versus Irving card. That's great. So when it comes to the consumers, it's pretty clear. Competition is a better situation. All right, now we're going to go to the employees. So that's like the fighters. The way it stands right now, if let's say the UFC and Affliction teamed up, It would never happen. This is just a hypothetical situation. It would just continue to be, it's my way or the highway. In North America, the UFC is the big show, and until recent Affliction purses, if you wanted the big bucks, you had to impress Dana White and the Fertittas. Well, now that contracts are up, Dana tries to pull as long as you're fighting under my roof, or as long as you're fighting in my city, which he considers to be Vegas or wherever. Um, you know, if he tries to pull that, people say, okay, no problem. And they'll do what Babalu, Matt Lindland, Josh Barnett, and Tim Sylvia did. These are all guys that used to fight in the UFC. All four were released or left the UFC due to contractual or personality disagreements or a combination. And what they do, they went over to Affliction, the competition, and they got paid. Or they could do what Fedor did. You know what I mean? He just avoided the UFC altogether, and got paid. Also, sometimes there are top 10 fighters, world-class fighters that Dana White and, the UFC heads, they believe they're boring. They think Ricardo Arona is boring. So what's going to happen, these guys get a chance to fight somewhere else in North America for, the same amount of money or even more money than they would have got in the UFC. So win-win. And last and least, the employers. This section is short because the outcome is the same either way. Either A, they're going to make big bucks, or B, if it wasn't a partnership, then it'd be monopoly, so they just make mega big bucks. I don't really care because any way you look at it, the people that put this stuff on, in this case, Dana White and the UFC and the Fertittas, they're going to make big bucks. So that's that. It's very clear what my standpoint is. I agree with Chase. The competition between two large organizations ends up being a great victory for the consumers and the employees. And of course, the employers, again, they're going to get paid as usual. Now, if Affliction ever reaches the success, that would really breed competition, and where the UFC would feel, these guys are a viable threat, they're coming up with shows every 3 or 4 months, they're handling business, then, they're not going to make up a show to combat Affliction's every move. So what we're going to end up happening, what we're going to have is double the MMA. The UFC has a show, in the first week of, whatever month, and Affliction has a show in the third week. That's great. And again, this is not a video for the purpose of bashing the UFC or anything like that. It's just a hypothetical situation created, for the MMA challenge for the purpose of this debate. Man, I'm a big fan of the UFC. I was a big fan of Pride. I'm a big supporter of Affliction. And I'm truly behind Dream. Man. But anyways, I'm actually intrigued with what Elite XC is going to do. I might have to put a video up after the card is released for their October show. If they don't put certain fights together in October show, the MMA Analyst, whatever, man. Me, I'm probably gonna boycott Elite XC if they don't put fights together that need to be put together. What does that do? Nothing. They don't care. But one little move from a little old dude like me, I just feel like I'm doing something. Anyways, good video, Chase. We agree. I don't know how you can compete if we both agree, but it's no big deal. It's all fun. It's all good. And it's all because MMA is important. It's important, y'all. Wait, I'm not going to say peace yet. I got somebody. I met him today. In the damn gym. Walked in the gym. Dude was standing I was like, oh, damn. I'm going to try and get an interview. I'm going to try and put that interview up. And I'm going to try and ask some good questions. MMA Analyst trying to do work for the people. So, check this out. If anybody has any questions that you might want me to ask Mauricio Shogun Hua, you guys let me know. I'm going to try and hook that interview up. I got a little bit of a window of opportunity to get it done, and I'm getting it done. And yeah, peace.